Now, in this portion, we will discuss about the conflict between Indira Gandhi and Syndicate. Under Indira Gandhi's leadership, Congress did not do much well in the elections. She had to face the challenge of the opposition without much experience. But more than external challenges, she was weakened by the internal challenges or problems within the party. She faced a lot of opposition from a group of powerful leaders in the party called the Syndicate. Here, Syndicate implies a group of people within the party has separate outlook than the main body. This group was led by the Congress President K. Kamraj. These leaders controlled the organizational part of the Congress as well. This group had leaders like K. Kamraj, like S.K. Patil, then Sanjiva Reddy, then S. Nijilingappa, then Atulya Ghosh, etc. This group actually played an important role in bringing Indira Gandhi to power. But as Indira did not follow their advice after becoming the prime minister, they started opposing her. So this is the phenomena. This was a very crucial time for Indira Gandhi. On one hand, she had to function freely from the control of the syndicate, and on the other hand, she had to bring back the opportunity of Congress that is lost during 1967 elections. To be free, to face these challenges, she accepted a very powerful policy. She tried to include leftist touch government's policies. In May 1967, she proposed the Congress Working Committee to accept 10-point program. This 10-point program had policies like nationalization of banks in various areas, then insurance companies, sealing of case of urban property, public distribution of food crops, land reform, providing housing for rural people, etc. These policies made Indira Gandhi very popular, and in the next elections, it helped bringing Congress back to power. While syndicate leaders did not support these policies, they had to accept and show their support for these socialist parties. Then we find presidential election of 1969 where split and reconstitution organized. During the presidential election of 1969, there was a lot of tension between Indira Gandhi and the syndicate, means in two groups. After the death of President Dr. Zakir Hussain, there was a conflict between the syndicate and the Indira Gandhi in electing the new president. In the meeting of Congress Parliamentary Committee, Indira Gandhi proposed the name of Jagjivan Ram, but opposing this, Morarji Desai put forwarded the name of Sanjiva Reddy. Dissatisfied with this move, Indira Gandhi left the meeting. Morarji Desai proposed the name of Sanjiva Reddy on the basis of conscience vote. Indira Gandhi to demonstrate her displeasure, asked V.V. Giri, who was the Vice President of India, to fight for the post of the President. V.V. Giri fought as an independent candidate. Around this time, Indira Gandhi introduced some people friendly policies like nationalizing of banks and abolition of privy purse of benefits for kings. That means no extra benefits for the royal family members. That time, because of all these issues, the internal conflicts in Congress took a very bad shape. As the president of Congress, Sanjiva S. Nijlingappa, declared a whip written order that Congress MPs and MLAs should vote for Sanjiva Reddy. Reddy was the official candidate of Congress, where whip means the Congress members are compelled to accept the decision given by the party. Opposing this whip, Indira's supporters demanded a meeting but were rejected. Indira Gandhi openly appealed to all to apply conscience vote. As a result, the Congress MPs and MLAs could vote according to their wish, and V.V. Giri finally won the election and became the President of India. Sanjiva Reddy's defeat completed the process of division of Congress, that is, the split of Congress. As Nijlingappa expelled Indira for anti-party activity, Indira Gandhi challenged that her group is the original Congress party. In 1969, the group with Syndicate became Congress organization and the group with Indira became Congress Restoration or Requisitionist. Indira Gandhi called this division a division between socialist and conservative, pro-poor and pro-rich parties. Indira's Congress succeeded in gaining popularity among people. This was the first division of Congress. After this, the party was again divided in 1980, then 1994, and even in 1999. Then next topic, general election of 1971. Some assured it as the restoration of Congress. Due to the division of Congress, Indira's government became a minority government. The government was supported by Communist Party of India and DMK on the basis of policy. Around this time, Indira Gandhi introduced a number of people-friendly policies. Among these important were the laws regarding land reform and ceiling of land ownership. Indira Gandhi made challenges in the strategies earlier used by Jawaharlal Nehru, as Nehru had a decentralized democratic outlook in the Congress as well as politics of the country. On the other hand, Indira Gandhi followed the policy of centralization of power in Congress. Indira Gandhi imposed authoritative control both inside and outside the Congress party. This will be discussed in our next chapter. Sudipta Kaviraj commented that the party was decayed in 1970 as it had no ideology and principle. But Indira Gandhi was very practical and accepted the method of populist politics. The reasons behind Indira's popularity in the decade of 1970s are just like: number 1, charismatic leadership. It implies powerful leadership. So, charismatic personality, one of the important reason behind the Indira Gandhi's increasing popularity is her strong charismatic personality. Indira Gandhi had a strong personality like her father. According to Frank Morris, Indira Gandhi was not only the unchallenged leader of her party, but she could do things which none of her party members could. Her fellow party members were deeply influenced by her and followed her loyalty. In 1971 election, one of the causes for which people voted for Congress was led by Indira Gandhi itself or herself. Then we can say in the second point, socialistic policies of Indira Gandhi's government. Socialistic policies of Indira Gandhi's government made her very popular among the people. She gave a leftist twist to the government policies by nationalizing banks and bringing land reforms. These policies have been discussed in earlier chapters already. Then we can say that Garibi Hatao, the next important project. Indira Gandhi during her campaign used popular slogans like Garibi Hatao, Desh Bachao. This slogan reflected her commitment to eradicate poverty from India. This slogan made her very popular to backward classes, unemployed youths, minorities, women, Adivashis, and scheduled caste of people. Indira Gandhi could strengthen the position of her party through number of innovative policies. She started becoming more authoritarian. She was not interested on forming a government with other parties. Hence, in December 1970, she dissolved the parliament and called for fresh elections. And in February 1971, fifth general election were held in India. This election was a big challenge for Indira Gandhi and her party. With the expectation of Communist Party of India, other parties came together against Congress. Parties like Samyukta Socialist Party SSP, Praja Socialist Party PSP, Bharatiya Janasangh BJS, Swatantra Party, Kranti Party, etc., came together to form a grand alliance. But these parties had no common minimum program and they did very badly in elections. Their common slogan was Indira Hatao or remove Indira. But instead of Indira, the Grand Alliance found itself removed from the political competition. Results of the election and the 11th strategy are various. Events after the election, Indira Gandhi started 10-point program. So various issues were put forward. But finally, what the result took place, the result of 1971 election was unexpected for Congress, that is Restoration Congress. In this election, Congress R and CPI got more votes than the last 4 elections. Indira Gandhi's Congress got 352 seats and CPI got 23 seats. Congress O, that means the syndicate body, could only get 16 seats. The seat share and vote share of the party are highly proportionate to the Congress R or Indira Congress. Through this election, Indira Gandhi proved that the Congress she led was the real Congress. The dominant position of Congress was revived after this election, after the result of the election. Indira's role in Bangladesh war increased her popularity to a greater extent. She was even praised by the opposition. In 1972, state assembly elections, Congress won with a lot of votes. Victory in two simultaneous elections brought back dominance of Congress. Within 4 years, Indira Gandhi could face multiple challenges and emerge as a strong leader of the country. Restoration of Congress, how far it is true in reality? Actually, Indira Gandhi worked very hard to restore the dominant position of Congress, but in later period, Congress failed to maintain this dominance. Congress managed to form government in the center, but at present, Congress is not the sole powerful party in India. For forming government, Congress has to take help and support of other political parties. The decline of the Congress began with the Indira Gandhi's assassination in 1984. The party has a lack of charismatic leaders. This had further led to the decline of the party and the post 2014 elections. Congress has lost its status as a dominant party in India. It is not always possible to maintain domination. It is not always maintain the status for every party. So since Lok Sabha election 2014 is another part added in your syllabus, we should look into the matter. The Lok Sabha election 2014 once again a challenge for the Congress. The Lok Sabha election 2014 reflected the beginning of a new trend in the political system of India. United Progressive Alliance, which was in power for a consecutive time, had to face defeat in this election. Most striking features of this election was the surprising rise of Bharatiya Janata Party and the disaster of Congress. Bharatiya Janata Party became the single largest party, securing 282 seats. Significantly, it was after 30 years a party had been able to form government of its own in center. Prior to this, Congress, under the leadership of Rajiv Gandhi, became the single largest party by securing 404 seats in 1984 Lok Sabha election. It is to be noted that Bharatiya Janata Party got 116 seats in Lok Sabha election of 2009 in spite of the fact that Bharatiya Janata Party could form the government. The party decided to include all the coalition parties of National Democratic Alliance. Narendra Modi became the 15th Prime Minister of India. It was a pathetic performance of Congress in the Lok Sabha election of 2014. It could secure only 44 seats. This is the worst ever performance of the Congress in the electoral history of independent India. Congress secured 206 seats in Lok Sabha elections of 2009. So was the dismal performance that the party failed to get the recognition of the main opposition party in Lok Sabha. Any party to be an officially or reorganized or recognized opposition party has to get 10% of total seats of the ultimate number, that is 55 seats. The performance of Congress in the election was out of imagination. That means the result of the Lok Sabha election of 2040 once again reflected the declining dominance of Congress. In the recent elections to a number of state assemblies, Congress has fared very poor except in Arunachal Pradesh. The party's pathetic show in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana in 2014 and Delhi in 2015 indicates the present status of the party. So, I am again saying that it is not possible for a party to take the status or remain in the status for a long time. Every party has its own day. It is actually based on its work and ability and the party management and the popularity which makes party to gain the status. So that's all for today's class. Ajke chuti.